So with over 1,500 hours in Civ 5, as well as being able to play Civ 6 on 2 separate occasions, I want to break down my first 100 turns as America. There's definitely a few things in Civ 6 that are going to feel familiar, there's some things that are going to be very different, and I want to talk about some of the things that I learned. So obviously, this is post-commentary, this is my footage as America. I actually go a little bit over 100 turns, and we get into at least 2 different wars, obviously fighting a few barbarians. I have no idea what I'm doing right here. One thing I want to disclose is that, yes, Firaxis flew me up to Novato to play this game, and that's why you're seeing a lot of YouTubers come out with footage of Civilization 6. Okay, so I move my warrior first here. Kind of, you know, there's still a lot of strategies from Civ 5 that will apply in this because it's still a hex-based system, and obviously we're still kind of using the same sort of strategies here, ideas. One thing that's really important though is you know, you can't really just settle anywhere now. Here's where I was thinking. I mean, you can't use the same strategy of where you used to settle in Civ 5. So you can see Tundra down to the south, and I was like, oh crap, like, as I was about to start moving, I really liked this spot in between, this little gulf here, in between, well, it's not a gulf, but this little mouth, but right there, yeah, see, that's what I was looking for, but I was like, wait a second, I can't go in the tundra, because I know how much more important mountains are. Mountains are really crucial because they're going to give you those adjacency bonuses. Mountains are way better in Civ 6. A large mountain range not only is going to give you, obviously, that impassable terrain, that defense early on, but it's also going to give you, like I said, those adjacency bonuses. And I'll be able to reach Washington down. The borders will grow a little bit to get those adjacency bonuses. It just sucks. My first start, I was like, ugh, Tundra, that's not too good. I did ask a few of the developers if there were, well, actually, there was only one of the main developers that's working on the game there, but I was asking him constantly kind of like opportunities that we might have for Tundra and desert. Desert is a little bit better if you can settle in the desert. If it's between a desert start and a Tundra start, I don't know why I was stumbling so hard right there. If it's between a desert start and a Tundra start, you're going to want to pick the desert, but there are different pantheons that will give you bonuses in both regions. But yeah, desert's a little bit better. One thing to keep in mind is that you do need space, so, you know, throwing wonders down on tundra tiles where you're not going to get that much yield from anyways, not a bad idea. You know, you could always do kind of a strategy like that. I did just stumble upon a goodie hut here. Let's see what I got. I got a free scout. Perfect. And I chose to go with the scout because this is a Pangea map. So I figured I would build a scout, and then I happened to get a goodie hut that gave me another scout. So really liking the scout animation. I love that it's like a little, you know, just like, I don't know, a little Frodo with a dog running around. I think that's pretty cool. So as I said, these are things that you got to really think about here is having enough space. And I kind of ran into a slight issue with that. The spreading of cities is hard. That is kind of a tough thing that, you know, I feel like for the most part I grasped most of the, you know, mechanics because it felt very Civ 5 to me. We found a barbarian scout, but yeah, choosing those districts, choosing, you know, correctly where to build each district and where to get these bonuses, that's tough. It's a lot tougher than I thought, and that's going to be really fun to see kind of the optimized strategies. You know, some of you guys in the forums, like on Reddit or on the Civ Fanatics website, I'm really excited to see what they do because the spreading of cities really is going to be a tough change. Okay, so I'm taking on a scout. Remember, I'm America, so my unique ability, my leader ability, I should say, gives me extra combat strength for my home continent. So America on a Pangea map is going to be really, really good. I mean, they don't get like a huge bonus or anything, but the fact that I can, you know, fight this barbarian pretty easily, scout v scout, and pretty much take him down is really, really helpful. Because talking to the other guys there were a few other YouTubers and press people there. They were having tough times fighting the barbarians in the beginning, and soon you do get policies that you can enact through the civic tree and through your government that will allow you to fight barbarians easier. But as America, I mean, I was doing pretty good. And you'll see in this campaign, I mean, we end up fighting a lot of barbarians, and we handle it. You know, I was really excited. Okay, so one thing I want to mention, I really love the hand-drawn map. So yeah, like when you discover an area and then you move out of the region so you can see the trees and stuff like that, that looks really cool. Also love Sean Bean as narrating. Sean Bean is going to apparently have a pretty big role in the narration. But yeah, okay, so I'm going to choose technology here. Before I finish that statement about the fog of war, I do want to say this new splitting of technologies from there's a technology tree and a civic tree is going to be big. That's another whole new strategy and a whole new concept that I found a little bit difficult to grasp. Not saying that I didn't like it. I did like it. But traditional strategies from Civ 5 weren't the same. And I guess that makes sense because these trees are going to lock different things down, and there are different wonders and things that you have to grab in the civics. So let me finish what I was going to in the civic tree, I should say. So yeah, but you know what I don't like? I'm not really feeling right now that I guess in Paradox games it's Terra Incognita, but love the hand-drawn map. Don't really like the other thing, and I'm hoping that there would be a mod for that, or I'm hoping that they change that up a little bit. I just think the hand-drawn map looks so good. It really just kind of outperforms whatever the kind of, I don't know, these squares are. So yeah, I was talking a little bit about I'm finding barbarians as we speak. Oh good, we found La Venta. Okay, before I do that, I want to talk about city-states. City-states are really, really cool in Civ 6. Each city-state is going to have a very, very unique bonus. Gone are the days where you're just looking at the little, is it a culture city-state? Is it a religious city-state? Is it a mercantile city-state? That's gone. Each city-state has its own unique bonuses. And I believe I was talking to the developer, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I believe there are 24 unique city-states. That is so cool. That is really cool because that means that each one has unique things that they're going to offer to you. I really love that change. I love it so much. Rather than just having 4 different types of city-states, every single one now is going to make a big impact on your game. So, you can be excited, or, you could be like, oh crap, all these city-states are in my map. That's not good, or that is good, so really, really love that. Okay, so I found the barbarians. I found a barbarian spearman. Barbarian warriors are popping up. Remember, the builders... Okay, want to mention that not everything is in place. Not the values will more than likely change upon release or after release, and some of there's placeholder graphics sometimes, and the narration is not always by Sean Bean. So just kind of take everything with a grain of salt. This is footage that will is most likely due to change the values and things like that, graphics and stuff like that. Okay, so here's my government. Economic policies, military policies. That's the initial government that you start off with. I believe it's the chieftain government. Here's the civic tree that I discussed a little bit. We went craftsmanship. So the civic tree mostly is going to give you policies to put into your government. And the government system, guys, is really, really cool. I really, really like what I didn't get to. I got to play with kind of the mid-tier governments. So there's like 3 different levels. I can't talk about the final level, but the first group and the second group of governments, really, really cool. And you're gonna and you can see like I'm gonna be researching different policies so that I can integrate each of these policies into these governments. The governments are gonna have like their overall bonuses, but then they let you have slots, and you put different cards depending on the category into your government. You enact those. So certain governments are gonna have more military policies. So if you want to go for a domination victory, some other governments are gonna have more economic policies, and we're going to see that. There's like I think a merchant republic where you can get all these economic policies and become a really rich nation. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I'm backing away from these barbarians here because I'm like, I don't really want to mess with you. I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, I built a builder. The builders can only go, remember, they're instant building now, but it's only 3 times unless you're China. China gets 4. This was also something that I was discussing with some of the other YouTubers and press there, is the builders are... This is a whole new strategy, because before, if you protect your civilians enough, you can have like 4 builders the entire game, and you'll be fine, right? No, you can't do that anymore. And you're going to have to be very, very careful because you're going to have to continue to pump out these builders, and it will not be easy. again, you can't just protect 4 civilian workers the entire game. You're only going to be able to do 3 at a time. So that really makes me question, like, I think that Chinese bonus is pretty big. The fact that they have 4 actions instead of just 1. So I think I found somebody new here. Great Britain. Of course. As America, I pop up right next to Great Britain. So at this point, I'm planning on going to war. Of course, I'm going to go to war. So the fact that I see Queen Victoria first, I'm like, all right, well, we're probably not going to like each other too much. I'm gonna play diplomatic at first, but for now, but later on, I mean, probably not so much. Okay. One thing that I wanted to mention too is that, what was I going to say? I don't even know what I was going to say. I'll come back to that. But yeah, I want to take out Queen Victoria. Let's take a look at this tech tree a little bit more. Writing, I mean, I didn't see, again, this is my second time playing. Things had changed a lot since the first time I had played. They're working on balancing changes, so if you see anything, like I said, the values are going to change. Who knows, the tech prerequisites are probably going to change too. So that's kind of the mode that they're in right now, is balancing out some things a little bit. That is a city-state warrior, La Venta's city-state warrior. Unfortunately, La Venta is a pretty big religious city-state. They grant a lot of religious bonuses. And at this point, I didn't really want to go for a religious game. I guess I should have, but I didn't really want to go for a religious game. Was more looking for, obviously, a domination. I wanted to go to war, and I go to war twice. We'll go into that a little bit. I'm telling you, the hand-drawn map looks so good. But because this is a Pangea map, I'm trying to get my scouts out there. I don't want to waste time fighting barbarians. I've got to send out some scouts and figure out who else is on this map. And I had no idea. I didn't really make the connection between my unique bonus and a Pangea map. That's really good, as Theodore. And I might refer to myself as Washington a few times because I am so used to Civ 5. So far, I've built a camp on the deer, and I've got a farm on that wheat. I don't have the technology. I believe it's mining that I need, but I decided to go writing first to increase my research. I think it's going to be a little bit more important, so I figured I don't have to improve that tile right now. I think it's more crucial that we rush writing and get up more science before anything else, so I'll have to build a second builder for that. Another goody hut. There's a desert to the north of us, so I got to mess around with... This is not the best of locations, I don't think. I mean, I was stuck between the tundra, and there's kind of a small desert to the north of me. There's my final move for the builder. And there is kind of a tutorial pop-up window coming on. Inspirations are pretty cool. Inspirations are going to... Well, there's 2 different ones. Inspiration for the civics, and I think it's a different term for technologies. But just if you do something naturally in the map, you're going to get bonuses to either your civic research or your tech research. That's really cool. So, like, if we started off coastal, we would have already had, like... half the time, it would take us only half the time to research sailing or something like that. That's cool. And naturally, you know, I think that these inspirations are going to be a pretty common occurrence in most games because I got a lot. I off the top of my head ended up getting, you know, I'm thinking at least 5 probably in the tech tree, and well, actually between the tech tree and the civic tree. Looking for more places to settle. But unfortunately, there's just so much snow to the south of me. I'm like, oh, crap. I did find London, and this is a problem because I've got barbarians coming to the south of me, and I never did take out that encampment, so we're going to need to go take them down. I want to be friendly with the city-state, too, because there's a mechanic with envoys. There's this envoy mechanic, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I don't really want to talk about it too much because right now it's not displayed, and it'd be really confusing if I discuss it. But envoys are how you're going to be cool with city-states, and you need to send a certain amount of envoys to level up. I think there's like 4 or 3 different levels instead of just like, you know, neutral, friendship, and alliance. They've changed that completely. So now I'm going to go mining because I needed an extra builder. Okay, so I ended up getting a Pantheon because I was getting that faith from the city-state. I don't believe I built any shrines or anything like that. So here are all the Pantheons. Again, the values will more than likely change, so just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so I had to cut away for a second there because, like I said, this is pre-recorded footage, so I don't know if I went to the restroom or if I was talking to one of the developers, but clearly that barbarian encampment is going crazy to the south of us. So I'm bringing back my warriors because I'm like, crap, this is not good. And I have no idea why this British warrior is following me. So in the beginning, I want to discuss some of the mechanics, but towards the later part of this series, I want to discuss some things that, some more opinion of certain things that I'm seeing from a player, from someone that's played Civ 5 a lot. I do have some. I think I've got some interesting views on some of the things that I see, but for now, I'll go over as much of the gameplay mechanics as I can, so that you guys get a good grasp of what the game is like. Okay, so another goodie hut. I don't even know what I got from that second goodie hut, but we're gonna get. I know I got a scout for the first time. This is gonna be the third one that I get. Really loving the way the cliffs look. The cliffs look really cool. Okay, so there's my second warrior. I'm gonna go fight these barbarians again with my, and I believe with my chieftain government. That's the government that you start off with automatically. I also picked up a military policy that will help me fight barbarians a little bit stronger. So not only do I have the bonus for fighting barbarians, but I have my American bonus, which will make it a lot easier to fight these guys. Okay, so I don't know if I'm buying something here. I'm looking at yields. Oh, I'm about to slap down a district, I believe. So again, those mountains. Look, see, adjacency bonus for the mountains. So if I find a mountain range, if you have a bunch of mountains surrounding you, you're gonna get a lot more yield out of it. And so this is one of the reasons why the Tundra is kind of okay, I guess. I guess it's okay. It'd be better for like a wonder placement though. But yeah, here's my first venture into districts. I got my goodie hut. There really does need to be a pop-up for those goodie huts, I think, or a bigger notification of showing me what I got. It's a little bit different because this is post-commentary, but yeah, it'd be nice. There's mining. We see our first barbarian slinger, ranged unit that's going to be pretty annoying. Notice my amenities. My amenities is low. You can improve your amenities by different luxury resources. One really cool thing, as I was talking to the developer, this is going to change things a lot. So yeah, there's no more happiness system. I think that they were discussing different things before they began development of Civ 6. From what I heard, they didn't like that there was like a certain strategy that you had to play, whether you're going to go tall or wide. You had to play tall in the very beginning before you could go wide. It's a lot easier to play really wide, and I think that's going to be such a welcome change from the Civ community. So many people, it's not going to necessarily be easy to just spam out cities. There are certain limiting factors, like I believe you need a certain amount of population before you can build a settler, and the amenities will slow you down, and you'll see revolts if you don't take care of your amenities, if you don't take care of your people. But it's nowhere nearly going to be as bad as like being super unhappy. If you're super unhappy, you're screwed in Civ 5. So yeah, wider play is way more feasible here, and I love that. I just absolutely love that. It's a great change. Okay, so I'm looking at some technologies. I'm thinking I want some more. Obviously I said I want to go to war, so I want to go for military, and the encampment would be really, really cool because the encampment not only lets me build units, gives me access to the barracks and the armory and certain military buildings, but also it's going to be able to fire. The encampment has its own strike attack, so not only from the city but from the encampment as well. I believe there might have been a bug where you couldn't attack from the city, but I did confirm that was a bug. So you can attack, bombard from the city, but we might not see it in this footage here. So there are some whales. It might have been a good idea in hindsight to have settled a coastal city, but I don't believe I settled a coastal city very early. I think I might at the very end, but yeah, nothing coastal in the very beginning. So I'm trying to find more civs. Another thing, you might notice this map is big, and it's kind of weird that we haven't discovered anybody else, right? The maps, the regular size maps, so let's say you play a traditional game with 8 civs. The maps are going to be 20 to 30% bigger than they were in Civ 5 on, again, traditional games, so with 8 civs. And that was like one of the first things I asked because everyone was really curious about that. They're very curious about that because the cities are sprawled out. We need more space. We need more tiles. I'm not entirely sure where that 20 or 30% is going. I'm assuming it has to go to land. I'm assuming that 20 to 30% bigger maps is going entirely to land tiles because obviously we can't build out on the sea tiles. But so we should see bigger land masses. Looking for something to purchase. I believe I just purchased something because I only have 8 gold, and it's time to finally grab some. Well, because I had mining, I can grab some of this salt. So I should be building this. There is also a bug for the yield that's being displayed. I'm going to display more of the yield a little bit later. I was very confused about this because you'll see me improve tiles, but when you scroll over it, the tooltip will show a different yield. It's the tooltip that's correct, not the visual representation when I bring it up on the map. So there's another it's Eureka. There you go. So civics are Eurekas or inspirations, and technologies are Eurekas. Okay, so there's the envoy system. You automatically get 1 free envoy when you're the first to meet a city-state. So you just start sending the envoys. It's not really like a trade route or anything like that. But oh, it looks like I probably went to the restroom here or something. So yeah, you get 1 free envoy for finding a city-state first, and slowly you'll get more and more. It's not like a trader; it can't be destroyed or anything. But that's an interesting mechanic, especially if you go to war. If you're going to war with certain civs, then you're gonna have if both you and your enemy both have okay envoys, okay statuses with this. Let's say like I have 7 envoys, our enemy has 8. I might be able to swap them in the middle of the war with certain things. I don't know exactly the requirements for that, but it is possible to do like a swap in the middle of the war. It's not gonna be super easy, but it can be done. Again, I'm not entirely sure of the requirements for that, but that was something that was mentioned. But anyways, guys, looks like I'm going to stop right here. We're going to fight the barbarians in the next one. I'll talk about some more things that I learned, and we'll see what you guys think in the comment section down below. So as we get further into the footage, I'm going to talk about more things that I learned. Again, I was able to ask a lot of questions to one of the developers, so I was able to kind of acquire a lot of knowledge. Hopefully I can share that with you guys. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.